In this explainer, we're going to tear down a bad 9.0 IELTS essay. Literally, take it apart piece by piece. The topic? Language extinction. By the time we're done, you're going to see exactly what it takes to get those top marks.
Okay, let's get right into it. This is a special lesson from the IELTS Focus, and we're tackling one of those tricky abstract topics you see in Writing Task 2. We're really going to zoom in on the specific language, the vocabulary, the ideas, all the stuff that takes an essay from just good to, wow, this is great.
So, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the task itself. Then, we'll dig into the two main arguments. After that, we'll check out some killer vocabulary. And finally, we'll wrap it all up by looking at the conclusion.
All right, section 1. Let's start right at the beginning and see how this essay takes the question and rephrases it like a pro. Getting this first part right, it's absolutely crucial for setting the tone for everything that follows.
So, here's the task we're up against. It's about languages dying out. The question basically says, hey, some people think this is no big deal, maybe even a good thing, because it makes life simpler. And then it asks you, well, what do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Okay, now check this out. This is the model introduction. Right away, you can see this is high-level stuff. The writer doesn't just repeat the question back. No, they rework it, they rephrase it, and they make it sound so much more academic. Let's dive in and see exactly what they did. See this? Instead of just saying languages die out, the writer says they are being lost. That's a little more formal, right? But the real magic is adding as societies develop and evolve. Boom. Instantly, you've added context and complexity. It shows you're not just thinking about the what, but the why.
And this is a really clever move. The question says, this is not important, almost like it's a fact. But the model answer says, some believe that this is unimportant. See the difference? You're attributing the idea to a group of people. This is classic academic writing. You're discussing an idea, not just stating it.
And here's another great example of leveling up your language. The question says, life will be easier. Okay, fine. But the model answer turns that into, see it as an advantage. It's the same core idea, but advantage is just a more formal, more conceptual word. It immediately makes the whole thing sound smarter.
Okay, moving on to the first main argument. A really smart thing this essay does is tackle the other side first. The idea that a simpler world with fewer languages is a good thing. You know, you always want to show the examiner you understand both sides of the coin before you give your own opinion. So, the writer starts off with "it is true that," which is a great way to show you're being fair and balanced. They talk about real-world stuff, like business deals and travel, where a common language obviously helps. And they end with this really powerful idea that, sadly, this desire for simplicity makes losing some languages inevitable.
Let's zoom in on the language here, because it's fantastic. We've got phrases like business transactions and mutual understanding, super precise, right? And using a word like adopt a language is so much better than just use it. But that word inevitable, wow, that's a really smart, strategic word to use. It shows you get the complexity of the issue.
All right, here we go. This is the big pivot. This is where the essay turns the tables and starts building its main case against language loss. It's time to counter that whole simpler world idea.
And it all starts with one word, nevertheless. That is your signal. It's like a big flashing sign that says, okay, I've heard that argument, but here's why it's not the full story. And notice the shift. We're moving away from practical things like business and into much deeper, more human ideas. Things like feelings, culture, and identity.
This is the kind of vocabulary that really screams Band 9. Think about it. We started with business transactions, and now we're talking about culture and identity and our deepest feelings and emotions. That's a huge jump in complexity and shows an incredible range of vocabulary. This is where the essay really shines.
Okay, so let's put it all together in a kind of Band 9 vocabulary toolkit. These are the key terms and phrases that really make this essay stand out. This is the language that shows the examiner you have total command of the topic.
Look at these upgrades. Instead of a problem, you say a cause for concern. Instead of many uses, it's a multitude of uses. And a beautiful phrase like should not be dismissed lightly, that's not just about vocabulary, that's about style. It shows a level of sophistication that examiners just love to see. It's a total game changer.
And now for the grand finale, the conclusion. You can write an amazing essay, but if you mess up the ending, it can all fall apart. So let's see how this writer sticks the landing with a really strong, clear finish.
You know, a good conclusion isn't just a summary. A great conclusion brings everything together.
Notice how it starts by acknowledging the other side? Yep, it's good for business, but then it pivots to deliver a really strong final opinion.
And there it is, plain and simple. I completely disagree. There's no hesitation, no maybe, no it depends. For a question that asks, to what extent do you agree or disagree, you have to be this clear. This kind of directness is absolutely vital for getting a top score.
So, this is basically the perfect recipe for a powerful conclusion. You've got 4 ingredients. 1. Acknowledge the other side. 2. State your position without any doubt. 3. Remind us of your main argument. And 4. End with a strong, memorable thought. Follow that formula, and you can't go wrong. It's flawless.
And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? The essay takes this huge, abstract topic of language extinction and boils it down to a really personal question. And that's what great writing does, right? It takes big ideas and makes you feel them, makes them matter to you personally. That's the mark of a truly exceptional piece of writing.